Hey guys, my name's Alisha and welcome to my channel. Okay, so what are you looking forward to today? Doing some Okay, so we're going to downtown and yeah, there's like a bunch of stores there, a bunch of bookstores. Actually, there's only like one big bookstore, so we're gonna go do that.
I think what I'm most excited about is going and exploring some good food spots, you know, downtown California. You know where we are?
No, we don't tell.
We don't know where we are.
Hey guys, my name's Alisha and welcome to my channel. So today I am doing a fun little video because I am going shopping and hopefully gonna go to some bookstores and buy some books and just have a fun little day out. But I have a special guest because I'm going with my sister. So yeah, we're having like a little sister's day out and we're gonna go shopping, book shopping, and just have a fun day. So this is Shraza. Shraza, what are you looking forward to today?
I think what I'm looking forward to the most is some good food spots to try out.
Yeah,
and
coffee spots.
Yeah, and maybe some nice clothes.
Okay, clothes shopping, book shopping, food. That's the plan. Okay, see you soon.
I've been looking out for somebody just like you, but then you walk on by and I knew what I had to do. The way you're moving, the way you're shining, everybody's watching you. I wanna make you mine. The way you're looking, the way you're smiling, it's like you put a spell on me. You're always on my mind, on my mind. I've been looking out for somebody just like you, but then you walk on by and I knew what I had to do. The way you're moving, the way you're shining, everybody's watching you. I wanna make you mine. The way you're looking, the way you're smiling, it's like you put a
Hey guys, so it's actually been a couple of days later and I forgot to let you know what books I bought and kind of wrap that up and also give you some reading updates because I am in the middle of 2 books, so I didn't want to quickly talk about those. But before that, let me show you the books I bought. So I didn't actually buy a lot of books. I only bought 2 at the bookstore. So the first one is A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor, and this is the sequel to An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, and that is a book that I read, I believe, last year, and I really loved it, and I have been wanting to get the sequel for a long time. I've also read this book, but I just didn't have a physical copy, and I also just love this cover. And yeah, this whole series is really fun. It's basically this sci-fi series about this sort of metallic statue that appears in the middle of New York City, and we're following a main character who kind of becomes this like viral celebrity when she takes a video of this statue and it like goes viral. And so yeah, this story is kind of about first contact with aliens and like this different species, and like there are a lot of sci-fi elements, but it's also about basically just this girl going viral and kind of dealing with internet fame and things like that. So yeah, I really love that first book, and the second book I think really stepped up the game and was also really fun, so I'm happy I finally got a physical copy of it. And the other book I got is A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsky, I believe. This is a book I believe came out last year. So this came out in 2021 and I have heard about it here and there. I haven't really heard a lot of good or bad things, so I'm not really sure if people like this book or not, but I thought the premise was really cool and I do want to check it out. Basically, this says it's about Robin Blythe has more than enough bother in his life. He's struggling to be a good older brother, a responsible employer, and the harried baronet of a seat gutted by his late parents' excesses. When an administrative mistake sees him named the civil service liaison to a hidden magical society, he discovers what's been operating beneath the unextraordinary reality he's always known. So yeah, this is a fantasy, and I believe it's a male-male love story. I might be wrong about that, but I think so. And yeah, so I'm really excited about this one. Another one that I think is a really beautiful cover, and happy I have a physical copy of it now. And then on a side note, I actually went to a dollar store, and I didn't even realize that the dollar store has books, and not only books, but like a pretty good selection of books. So I actually ended up picking up some books from the dollar store. So the first one is The Perfect Date by Evelyn Lozada. This is a book that I've never heard of, but I feel like the dollar store did have some very obscure titles that are just random books, but I just thought that the cover was really nice and it looks like a fun romance. It says on the back, when a single mom ends up playing an unwilling fake girlfriend to a charming playboy baseball player, love suddenly turns everything upside down in this fun, heartwarming, multicultural romance. So yeah, this was $3, and I have kind of been into sports romances, and I do love a whole one of the main characters has a child trope. I don't know what that's called, but the single parent trope, that makes sense. So yeah, I do like that, and I am hoping this is a fun romance. And then I also got Whisper Network by Chandler Baker. So this is a book that I think came out either last year or a little while before, and I do remember hearing some good things about it. And so again, found this at the dollar store, thought it would be a great buy for $3. And I think this is a thriller, and it's a Reese's Book Club pick. So all in all, I feel like it's a good purchase. So those are the 4 books I ended up buying recently. And now let me tell you about a couple of the books I'm reading. So the first book that I want to talk about is Mickey 7, and I am on page 163, so about halfway through this book. And this is a sci-fi book, and it's actually really fun, and I didn't really have many expectations, but I feel like I've been in kind of a sci-fi mood, so I was excited to pick this up. Basically, this is about this like futuristic world where I think the Earth is like doesn't exist anymore, and there are all these different colonized planets in like the galaxy, and so we are following basically I think it's like this expedition where these people are going to a new planet and kind of trying to see if it's habitable and, you know, if they can have a whole civilization there. And so on each of these expeditions there is this job that is an expendable, and so in this futuristic world, these people have been able to kind of make clones now. And so the expendable is basically a person who's gonna become a clone, and they're gonna use this person to kind of do any dangerous mission or any life or death circumstance that they need. They use this expendable person to go and do that thing to kind of see if it's safe. And basically, if that person dies, they can make a clone of him, and all is well. So our expendable that we're following is Mickey, and so he is in his kind of 7th iteration when we start the book. And so we're kind of following Mickey as he like deals with the fact that he's sort of immortal, but also is dealing with the fact that he has died, you know, 7 times. But the big kind of thing that happens is that Mickey, at the start of the book, he's kind of left for dead by his peers or colleagues, I guess, and they basically decide that, you know, he's not worth saving, and they're just gonna go get Mickey 8 started up. But Mickey 7 actually ends up surviving, but by the time he comes back to kind of home base, Mickey 8 is already created, and so now there's a Mickey 7 and a Mickey 8 at the same time, and this hasn't ever happened before. And it's also a big deal because they don't have a lot of like food stores, and you know, the population is always accounted for. So they have to hide the fact that Mickey 7 actually survived. And so we are kind of following Mickey's time as he goes, he kind of takes us through all of the different iterations and what's happened to him, as well as the world that we're living in, the planet, the whole society, all of that. And there seems to be this new planet that they're on is like, as they're trying to figure out if it's actually habitable and safe and everything, there seems to be kind of these sort of animals. They call them creepers, and they are very unsafe and dangerous. So that's another thing we're dealing with. All of that to say, I do think that this book is really fun and it's really exciting, and I definitely think that the writing style is very just fun and humorous. Mickey as a character is really funny and charming, I guess, in a way. So I do really like that. I also do think it's really interesting seeing this whole futuristic world and how you know, the society is, and there's a lot of stuff in here about like old Earth, and so that is basically Earth today and like how it got destroyed and how all of these civilizations had to go up into space and like colonize these other planets. So I think that's really cool, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of fun characters and a lot going on, and it's a really fun and humorous writing style. So all in all, I am really enjoying this, and I definitely think I'll be able to finish it either today or tomorrow, because like I said, I'm more than halfway through. So yeah, it's an easy and quick read, and I'm having a really good time with it. And so the other book that I actually finished last night, which I wanted to mention, is The One by John Mars. So this is another sci-fi book. Like I said, I am in my sci-fi zone, but this is supposedly a sci-fi thriller, and it's basically taking a concept that I feel like has been pretty used recently. I've seen a lot of books with this kind of similar concept, but it's basically this dating site service thing that has been created where they take DNA matches to like get people together. So it's basically your soulmate that you're getting matched with. And so this is a new service that has kind of taken the world by storm. And so now all of, like, it's basically, you know, getting people together, but it's also causing divorces because people are using the service and finding out that who they're actually with isn't their soulmate. So they're like getting divorced. It's causing breakups, things like that. But we're basically following, I believe, 8 main characters. So there are definitely a lot of characters, and it did take me a while to get on board with that because it's a lot of different stories, but we are following, I guess, 4 main characters as well as their partners. But yeah, we're following 4 characters of like their 4 pairings, and so there's 8 characters total, and each kind of pairing we're following them as they either like initially meet their soulmate, or they decide they're gonna meet them, and like basically we're following their whole experience of meeting their soulmate and whether or not things work out. So I sort of am kind of confused as to why this is a thriller. I do think towards the end things did pick up a little and become thriller-ish, but I don't think ever, or at least for me throughout the story, I was ever, like, I guess like for a thriller there has to be like sort of a mystery or something going on, and I think the only thing really in this book was about how kind of about how this matchmaking service was gonna work out, and if it was gonna work out between these pairings. And there was one character who actually was a serial killer, and so we were following him as he met his soulmate. So I guess that was sort of a thrilling aspect, because I mean, we're basically following him as he went through and like did his murders while also meeting his soulmate on the side. So that was one character. There was also another character who was the creator of this whole service, and so we're following her, and her, like, she finally decided she was going to use the service herself and meet her person. And then there's another character, there's another character who basically was in a relationship already, but he decided to, both of them decided to do the test, and then he ended up being like matched with another guy, and so he was not gay before, but then because of this match he decided to meet this person, and it sort of created problems in his existing relationship. So that was another situation. So we're basically following all of these different stories of these pairings. And yeah, so my only thing with this was that I didn't really ever feel like this was a thriller. I did think it was interesting, and I thought that, again, especially towards the end, a lot of things happened that I guess sort of turned it into a thriller when some of the like reveals happened. But for majority of the book, it kind of more felt like a dating show, as we're just following these different couples kind of go through their lives and meet their people and like deal with their existing relationships and things like that. So again, I did really enjoy it. I just don't know if I would classify it as a thriller. I also think all of the characters, like I said, there was a lot of characters, but I do think that they were unique and different enough that it didn't really get confusing, especially after a while once you like met each character and like understood their stories. So yeah, I did like that all of the characters were unique and different, and I did enjoy pretty much all of the stories of each character and their match. I did think some stories were stronger than the others. Like I think the serial killer character was really interesting, and I like was really engaged with his story. As well as there's just maybe a couple characters who stood out more than the others. But I feel like when you have such a huge list of characters, that's bound to happen. So yeah, overall, I think I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. And I was thinking about my kind of rating system because this is on a whole different tangent, but I do think that when I decided I wanted to give this book 4 stars, but at the same time, when I was kind of comparing it to other 4-star books that I've been giving out recently, it didn't necessarily feel like it was on par with that. Like I did really enjoy this book. I had fun with it, but I don't know if I would give it 4 stars in terms of like, I don't know, like 4 stars for me is like almost perfect. You know what I mean? Like it's almost a 5 stars, but it's just not quite there. And while this book didn't feel like 3 stars, like 3 stars is average. It's, you know, something that I had fun with, but I'll probably forget pretty soon. So it's a little more than that. And obviously like there's 3.5 and all of that, but just, yeah, I don't feel right giving it 3.5. But when I compare it to other 4-star books, I don't feel like it's at that level. So now I'm kind of thinking I need to start giving out like quarter stars because I feel like if I really like got nitpicky, this is more like a 3.75. And then other 4-star books that I've given 4 stars were maybe more of like a 4.25, you know, but that's on a whole different matter. Basically, for Goodreads purposes, this is 4 stars, and I did have a really good time with it. And yeah, again, like I said, I think this is I don't know if this is like a sort of genre, a subgenre, but I've seen a lot of books that kind of have this sort of DNA matchmaking plot in it. Obviously, there is that romance book by Christina Lauren, I believe it's called The Soulmate Equation. And there's another, I think it's called The Arc. It's a book, a recent release. I think it came out in 2022. I haven't read that yet, but I think it also has a sort of similar premise. So I just think that's interesting that so many books like this are coming out. You know, it makes you think what would happen if we ever got something like this in real life. But I don't think science is quite there yet. So anyways, did like that book, and Mickey 7 I'm hoping to finish soon, so I will try to give you an update on my final thoughts on this book.
The way you're moving, the way you shine, everybody's watching you. I wanna make you mine.